President Muhammadu Buhari addresses world leaders at the United Nations 72nd General Assembly, focusing on Nigeria's democracy, global peace and security. Was it a well-spent 15 minutes? We evaluate the president's outing. Plus, many have asked for it. Now the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onohen, has okayed it. Special corruption courts opening soon. This means graft cases will be heard and determined speedily. Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. Today, President Muhammadu Buhari made his third outing at the United Nations General Assembly. The president expressed his concerns over the threat posed by North Korea's nuclear weapon. He promised that Nigeria's commitment to democracy is firm and unshaken.
Our faith in democracy remains firm and unshaken. Our regional organization, ECOWAS, came together to uphold democratic principles in the Gambia as we had done previously in Côte d'Ivoire.
The president also spoke about the need to close the gap between the rich and the poor, the need to step up the fight against terrorists. He touched on global peace and security, emphasizing the threat posed by North Korea's nuclear weapon.
Nigeria proposes a strong United Nations delegation to urgently engage the North Korean leader. The delegation, led by the Security Council, should include members from all the regions.
Well, then, that's President Muhammadu Buhari a few hours ago at the floor of the United Nations General Assembly. Well, now, let's get some insight into what informed the items of the president's speech to the world leader. Mr. Femi Adeshina, the spokesperson to the president, is there in the United States and New York with the president. He joins us now from New York. Many thanks, Mr. Adeshina, and perhaps congratulations on the outing of earlier today. Let me begin by asking you, what is the atmosphere? We do also know that the president and some of the delegates are having some meetings on the sideline. What is the atmosphere like, and what does this outing particularly going to bring into the country as benefits?
Thank you. It's been very upbeat. Most Nigerians, almost all that I have spoken to here today, are quite happy. They were very pleased with the speech the president gave, and I think it's a good time to be a Nigerian. They feel good being Nigerians. And then the other part of your question, apart from the speech to the General Assembly, the president has also held a bilateral meeting with the King of Jordan. Jordan has assisted Nigeria in the fight against insurgency. I think they gave close to 200 armored tanks to Nigeria at very, very liberal rates. So the bilateral meeting also held to move that relationship forward.
What other meetings? We understand that there's going to be, there was an investment sideline meeting also. When is this going to happen, or what are supposed to be the import of some of these meetings also?
The investment sideline meeting happened yesterday, and the report from that meeting was very good because you had 80% of American businessmen at that meeting, and the other 20% was made up of Nigerians. So it was a very good meeting. The prospects are good for our country.
The president is also expected to speak or to have a meeting with the president of the United States. What is the focus of that meeting?
Well, it's a lunch meeting actually tomorrow, and there are going to be 9 African countries. Nigeria is one of them. There are 8 others: South Africa, Congo, and some other 8 African countries and Nigeria. So it's a lunch meeting. You can then imagine that there will be a lot of chit-chat over lunch tomorrow on issues that pertain to Africa, because all the presidents there with the American president are going to be African presidents.
Quickly, let's talk about what informed the items on about 20 paragraphs of the president's speech earlier today. What basically informed the composition of that? If you look at the center point of it is democracy in Africa, the issue of nuclear weaponry around the world, and peace, and how the suggestion of Nigeria and Africa to the world.
Well, you will see that there's something that resonates through the speech, which is peace and security. And you know it is one of the three main agendas of our president. He has pledged to secure Nigeria, he has pledged to fight corruption, and to revive the economy. You'll find running through the speech issues of peace and security, not just in Nigeria now, but across the world. Because whatever affects one country now affects almost the entire world. So the president is looking towards a situation in which the world pulls together in one direction so that humanity can be safe.
Mr. Adeshina, the last time the president spoke on the floor of the United Nations, Nigeria was in recession at that time. And one of the things the president did ask at the floor was the repatriation of funds, talked about the issue of monies and how corrupt monies have been fly around the world. He did not mention so much about that. Is it that he's gotten the confidence of the world on this matter already, or he just we didn't find that item on the agenda on this one?
Yeah, no, there are some bilateral meetings where that it had come up in one meeting yesterday, and it will still come up. Tomorrow is going to hold a bilateral meeting with the United Nations Secretary General. You can be sure that is going to be part of what will be discussed.
Quickly, let me ask you, Nigeria has always pushed for a seat on the Security Council of the United Nations. This time around, we're not pleading for that. Why?
Well, the reform of the UN, Nigeria has always championed it. And there is a bilateral meeting coming up tomorrow where that will also come up. Last year, it was in the speech of the president. It does not need to repeat himself on some issues year after year. That can be done at a smaller forum, and it's going to come up.
Perhaps I should just quickly ask you, there are stories and reports back home here whether or not the president did sign the prescription notes for IPOB. Did he do that before he left the country?
I read the report also online today, but it's not something I have discussed with him. So I can't confirm or deny whether that actually came up before he left the country.
Quickly, Femi, tell us, what is the president's itinerary now? When is it due to leave New York, and when is it due to land in London, and when do you expect him back home?
Well, I don't have a definite word on that, but I know that tomorrow is going to have lunch with the American president. He's going to meet with the Secretary General of the United Nations. On tomorrow is Wednesday, and then maybe on Thursday in the early hours he has some things to do. After that, I believe that he may be thinking of flying out. But one thing is sure, the trip was to last between last Sunday and next Sunday, Monday. Though he's going to the UK, everything will still be done within the time frame of the trip.
Femi Adeshina, try to stay warm. I guess New York is warm this time around. Okay, keep safe. Thank you so much. Femi Adeshina, spokesperson of the president. Thank you so much for your time here.